I'm Isaac, and the type of care and support I draw on is adult social care, so I receive a direct payment. I also access mental health services and lots of NHS kind of services, but mainly around social care. So I get a direct payment that enables me to live in my own home, which is really important for me. I live in my own home with my husband, 3 dogs, and enables me to have a relatively really good life and do things that I once imagined was never going to be possible, like having a job, owning my own home, being a active member of my community. So I've been drawing on adult social care for over 15 years. It might be near to 20 years. And it's looked and felt different at different times. So I had very traditional kind of support in the beginning, where I had care agencies coming into my home and helping me kind of do the things that I wasn't able to do. And then I moved probably about 15 years ago over to a direct payment because it gave me much more flexibility and much more control over the life that I wanted to live. So I directly employ a number of personal assistants. So I receive a direct payment from the local authority, which is a cash payment in lieu of or instead of kind of traditional services. And then I use that cash payment to employ a number of local people to support me on a daily basis. So social care enables me to have a really good life. I was for a very long time one of those revolving door patients, and I would spend a lot of time in and out of hospital, struggling with my social care needs. And I then was supported to via social services to think about kind of what support I would need to kind of break that cycle. And I started to access some support at home after having a long spell in hospital. Then I moved on to direct payments. Social care really enables me to do things that I once imagined was never going to be possible. So when I first went into hospital, I remember a doctor saying to me, "Don't worry, you're never going to have to worry. You'll be on benefits. You won't be able to work, all those kind of things." And I started to believe that. Social care enabled me to not only have a life, but actually live a life. So I have a really nice home, which is my own home, which is really important to me. I do lots of things in my local area and I'm really connected. So I'm a bit of a busybody, so it enables me to stay connected with people, be connected, do things in my community, do things nationally, such as I do lots of work around co-production and lots of things around adult social care because I see the benefits that social care can um, support people from really difficult times to having less difficult times. So I do lots of things. I think it enables me to live at home, not be that revolving door kind of patient. It enables me to have really good health and well-being, including mental health. It enables me to have a loving relationship. It enables me to work, which is really important for me. And the most important thing, it enables me to have a sense of like purpose and belonging. So I feel like without that support, I wouldn't be able to be connected. I wouldn't be able to be employed. I wouldn't be able to make a difference. And having a sense of purpose and belonging is important for every human being, regardless of your support needs. So I think there have been many barriers over my kind of life accessing adult social care or drawing on care and support. And those barriers have been different at different times. So I think when I first started to access adult social care, what I was told is that whatever support I needed to organise that support, and as long as I was doing it in a way that met my needs, then that was fine. There have been lots of restrictions over the years, so there's been different interpretations of the Care Act. There's been different, suppose, policies. There's been different takes on what personalisation means, and I think for a long time people thought personalisation meant being independent in your own home. For me, that wasn't really necessarily working for me because actually, I wanted to be connected with people. I wanted to be out there doing stuff. So there was kind of attitudinal barriers, there were financial barriers, but most of all, I think the biggest barrier has been a kind of scarcity model kind of thinking, like so people talking about money rather than people talking about good lives. So with the support I get, it not only enables me to contribute to society and pay taxes and make a difference, it enables my family to continue to work, and that has a massive contribution. It enables me to do the things that make sense to me, but it also keeps me away from being that revolving kind of patient in and out of crisis to actually having a relatively good life, or having a good life. So it saves money in the long term, but it gives people the chance to contribute, and be part of society. And as a disabled person, it's important to be part of society. It's important to contribute and to be supported in a way that helps me contribute, even when I'm really struggling. That support is there. It's a safety net. It's important to recognize that within that there were some really great people working in health and social care. Like the people that I employ are amazing and they go above and beyond. And I wouldn't be the person I am without that support. So without the Kevin support that I receive, and there have been moments where it's been very present. So during COVID, we all experienced COVID when we weren't, or I wasn't able to receive the support that I needed in that way. It had a massive impact on my mental health and well-being. It had a massive impact on my ability to manage and function. When there has been maybe gaps that I've had in terms of employment and people moving on because they've gone on to be social workers or police officers, and I've been really fortunate to have some great PAs. What it has highlighted is, and people often get this really wrong, is that I am great because of the support. And actually, without that support, I wouldn't be able to do this stuff. So I would be in and out of hospital. I'd really struggle to manage my health and social care needs. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I do. And that, for me, um, would just be such a disappointment and such a loss. So I want to make a difference. I can make a difference, but I need support to do it. And sometimes the system gets really fixated on the idea of when you're doing really well, that's means that you don't need support. And actually, I do really well because of the support. So when I've had that support change, that's had a massive impact on my life, my ability to function, my ability to look after myself. That's had a massive impact on my relationships and my family, massive impact on the work that I do. So it really costs on a number level. So costs on a kind of health and social care level. It costs in terms of like a monetary and adding value to society. But ultimately, it stops people dreaming big and having like good life. So I'm not somebody that wears my challenges on my sleeve. So I'm a very private person. For example, things such as everyday things like being able to prepare a healthy meal can at times for me be like climbing a mountain, being able to do things like accessing the things that we all take for granted. So like popping down the shops, those kind of things that I think just most people just can do without even thinking about it, can be like mountainous for me because of my fluctuating health condition. And I wouldn't be able to kind of look after myself. I wouldn't be able to have the health and well-being. Most importantly, my physical health has an impact on my mental health. So both of those would suffer. And I think I would certainly struggle to do the things that I do on an everyday basis without that support. And my support's quite small. So I think it just goes to show with the right support, people can achieve great things. But without that support, things can really unravel and fall apart very quickly.
Yeah.
So, my family and friends, there is some uncomfortable things that you face when you are accessing care and support is that sometimes our families and our friends become our support network, and actually they don't sign up to that. It's quite a lot of time and commitment, and it changes the dynamic. So my family and friends, I think they would say that it enables me to be a friend and a family member rather than someone that is being cared for, looked after. It enables them to have a good quality of life because they don't have to worry and they know that I'm getting the right support. It enables me to stay in my own home, have a lovely relationship. I'm married, so I have a really lovely relationship, and that wouldn't be achievable without the support that I get. Um, it's rebuilt a lot of bridges around some of those crisis moments when things just felt so big for my family and friends where they didn't know where to go. Now there's other people that can hold some of that space. I think they're relieved. I think they can just see the benefits. And the people that I employ are part of the family. They're like just an extension of my family.
Oh,
I think my needs are recognised and respected, but I still have moments of worry that at times they won't be. So every year we have a review of our support needs, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily feel that people recognise us as needing that support. It might be financially driven, it might be policy driven, and actually when you really understand an individual and what they can contribute with that right support, I think it works really well. But I think there's been a legacy, unfortunately, of austerity. I think there's been a legacy of local authorities choosing which bits of the Care Act they will provide support around. I think a lot of it goes back to without the support, I can't advocate for myself. So I need that support to advocate and get my needs met. It can be really hard in busy systems, systems that are, I think, challenge for cash, challenge for have a challenge around the workforce, many vacancies, all those kind of things really do play out. And sometimes that means we don't get heard or we don't get the right support. So if I had a magic wand, I think what needs to change is that we all see adult social care as something that we would all be benefiting from at some point in our lives. We are not driven by money, we're driven by people's lived and living experiences of good lives. That we see adult social care very much like we see the health system. So if I had a heart attack, the NHS would support me through that process. And social care is like that safety net for me. So I think we need to move away from arguments and conversations about costs to actually realizing that this is about people living good lives and that it's not a party political football. It is about having a society that's fair, just, and equitable for everybody, and that we need to invest in people, process, and the workforce. Um, I think it's interesting, some places in the world that have really invested in different kind of structures, like Australia and other places. I think they've really centered the needs of individuals and had national conversations and debates around what do we need over the next, I don't know, 50 years from our health and care systems. And it's really interesting. Health always comes first, but actually care is, if not more important for people with long-term conditions than health, because we go to hospitals to help us with those acute challenges, but it's social care that helps us live good lives on an everyday basis. My message to the next government on adult social care and support is to really understand that it's about people living good lives and really work with people and their families to make sure that your policies and your procedures are really focusing on people having good lives. People that draw on care and support and their families are people that can support any government, really enable us to have a social care fit for the next generation. So over the next 5 to 10 years, how do we have a social care that really focuses on experience rather than money? And one of the things that I think we get lost in some of the national debate is about money, but I can assure any government that when you do it in a very co-produced way, when you invest in people, it saves money in the long term, but enables people to have good lives. We all are going to be recipients of social care at some point in our life. That's just a given, and we need to see it as as important as our NHS.